Hello there, and welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash, and I'm your host on this journey through men's style, self-development, and personal grooming. And today I'm going to help a gentleman on his own journey to Chap Nirvana, and I'm going to answer a question about footwear, which is of course a topic I'm always delighted to speak about. And today's question comes from Dirk, who hails from the United States of America. And his question is simple. Hi Ash, Alan Edmonds has just released a limited edition Spectator shoe in an Oxford and a sneaker in a similar style. I'm tempted to buy one or both styles for the summer, but I have no idea how to wear them. Do you have any suggestions? Well, you pose a great question. The Spectator shoe is perhaps something which is less common in the modern era. Many people may not even be familiar with that name. So I think, as ever, when we're considering bringing in a main item of our clothing or an accessory into our wardrobe, for me, an important stop on the journey to ownership is learning more about that item. Where did it begin its life? What's the origin story? Because if I can understand the item, it certainly helps me decide whether I want to bring it into my collection. And the Spectator shoe is something which has an interesting story. Let's just for a moment think about what a Spectator shoe is, because I want us all to understand what we're talking about. So the Spectator shoe traditionally is often a brogue, a wingtip brogue, or it can be another type of shoe, either a cap toe style shoe, maybe in an Oxford lacing style, could be a Derby style, or it could be, a semi brogue, whatever it may be. But the defining feature will be the fact that the toe cap and the heel cap will be of a contrasting colour to the centre part or the vamp of the shoe, the main body. And the typical style patterns that you will be familiar with seeing is that centre part, the vamp, will be either white leather or another material, often quite light in colour, and the toe cap and heel cap will be a darker colour, typically black or brown, but often in a contrast with that central vamp. That's the type of shoe that we're talking about, and which so far we've referred to as a Spectator. Now, going into the origin story of the Spectator shoe, I said it's interesting because unlike many shoes, and it's not often you can say this about a shoe, it has something of a salacious part in history, and certainly where it gets its name from. So let's start with Spectator. This is the name you will use for this shoe typically if you live in North America. And it's been the name of the shoe for many years. And the origin of the Spectator title for this shoe is the fact that way back in the 1800s, this type of shoe was worn by gentlemen who played golf and cricket. So, the traditional British sports of that era. We believe that John Lobb, the world's premier shoemaker to this day, holder of the Royal Warrant, made the first Spectator shoe in 1868 for presumably men who played golf or cricket. Now, these sporting heroes of the time wore these shoes as part of their sports kit. And of course, the people watching the sport, the spectators, they would see their heroes, the stars, wearing this type of shoe. And much like in the modern era, the spectators want to emulate the styles and the fashions worn by their sporting heroes. So they started buying and wearing the shoes as well. Much like in the modern era, perhaps if you're a football fan or a rugby fan, you might go out and buy the shirt of the star that you like watching, wear it yourself, you're emulating the style of your hero. And that's exactly what happened with these shoes. So the spectators increasingly bought these shoes, and over time they acquired the name of Spectator. So that's why they're called Spectator shoes. Now, if you live in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, such as myself, you likely will not refer to these shoes as Spectators. We refer to them as Co-Respondent shoes. Now listen to the word I said. I said Co-Respondent, not correspondent. A correspondent is somebody who writes regularly. A co-respondent is something totally different. And that's where the salacious history of these shoes get their origin story. A co-respondent in British family law is a guilty party or a participant in a case of adultery in a divorce case, all right? So the guilty party is a co-respondent. And why did they get that name, you might ask? Well, it's interesting. Back in the late 1800s, I guess, the early 20th century, 1910s and so on, there were a certain type of men who would hang around in the social flesh pots of London, presumably. You might call them lounge lizards. You might call them gigolos. But they were men who were prepared to enter into non-marital, intimate relations with females. And those relations caused divorces. So these men of low moral standards, shall we describe them, became known as the co-respondents in the resulting divorces from their dalliances with females in that era. And as a consequence, because those men commonly wore the type of shoe which we're talking about today, the shoe got the nickname of the co-respondent shoe, because they were commonly worn by lounge lizards and gigolos. Now that may well still be the case today, I wouldn't like to say. Further to cement that nickname of the co-respondent shoe, they were often worn by possibly the greatest or most famous case of adultery which came to sort of public awareness in the 1930s. Of course, the love story of all time between Mrs. Wallis Simpson, the American, and the man who was to become King Edward VIII. Latterly, of course, they became the Duke and Duchess of Windsor when King Henry VIII abdicated his throne in 1936 in order to marry Wallis Simpson. And he often wore the co-respondent shoe casually, and she did as well. And if you want to cement the story of the co-respondent shoe being associated with adultery, there you have it. The most famous case of adultery caused a king emperor to step down from his throne. So that's the history of the shoe. Now, increasingly in the modern era, you won't see many people wearing a Spectator or a co-respondent shoe. And just to simplify things, I'm going to call it the Spectator, because that's what Dirk asked about in his question. So the Spectator shoe is a rare sight in the UK, unless you are going to a summer event where gentlemen are dressing up in their very finest. And it is typically seen as a bit of a summer shoe. I think commonly because that central panel, the vamp of the shoe, is white, and that white will tie in with more of the styling of clothing which one sees in the winter. In the summer rather. So perhaps, white trousers or chinos which will be worn in an ensemble of clothing, like to, a regatta or something of that nature. So you don't see it that often. And of course, it is very flamboyant. So if you do see it, it is going to draw the eye immediately. However, in the modern era, stepping aside from those Alan Edmonds Spectator shoes, which we've already seen, you see more and more manufacturers, I think, casting around today to try and bring an interesting new take on shoes that they have in their collections. And you will find some manufacturers offering a Spectator style shoe, but not necessarily with that white or lighter colour vamp. My own research will suggest that many manufacturers today will make a Spectator shoe, but with that central vamp being of a tweed material or a material finish rather than a leather finish. I've even seen in my research some manufacturers who would suggest that that type of shoe, certainly with a tweed vamp, is now becoming more popular as regards to sales than a traditional all-leather Capto Oxford style shoe. So definitely, because of its visual interest, it's being brought to the attention of people, and it may be on, the ascendancy. This type of shoe definitely brings a lot more interest than an all-leather dress shoe. Okay, so what's my take on this type of shoe? And I'm kind of answering the question Dirk posed here. For me, the Spectator shoe is a bit of an outlier in the dress shoe world, because it's not really a dress shoe, It's exceptionally informal because of the very nature of its colours. You certainly wouldn't be able to wear it with, say, a suit. It would be too flamboyant, it would draw the eye, and that's not what you want when you're wearing, you know, an ensemble of clothing and you've got one item which is drawing all the attention, particularly if it's the item furthest away from your face and nearest the floor. So it's not a shoe which is exceptionally versatile. It is, of course, quite casual in nature. However, if you've got a bit of a shoe collection and you're looking to inject some interest into your clothing, definitely it can be a shoe which is, you know, maybe, you know, the 8th or 9th pair of shoes that you buy. Or if you can pick them up very inexpensively, you will be able to have an interesting shoe. I personally have owned Spectators in the past. I did buy a very cheap pair many years ago to see if I got on with it. I really didn't wear it that often. I could only wear it in casual situations, so I never replaced it with a more expensive pair when they died away. The type of Spectator I am more drawn towards, of course, would be one of those shoes which perhaps has a fabric or a tweed vamp or central area of the shoe, because I think it's quite casual. So if you are a gentleman who's looking to up your game when it comes to shoes, but you don't want to go the whole hog and perhaps buy an all leather pair, you know, a black cap to Oxford, a different coloured cap to Oxford, an all leather brogue, maybe one of these shoes with that tweed vamp or another material vamp, it's a halfway house. It's a very casual shoe, but still something you can wear on a daily basis. If you want to go a bit more conservative, and I look to my own collection here as an example, I've got here a shoe. This is a Grenson dress shoe. It is a full wingtip brogue, full leather, and as you can see, the sort of Spectator element to it, the central vamp area, is also made of leather, also of the same colour as the main part of the shoe, but to draw its difference, it's used a woven leather. So it's very different, it's very unusual, you can spot it straight away, but because it isn't a different colour, it perhaps doesn't draw the eye quite so obviously. And perhaps that's a more conservative way of entering a shoe like this into your collection if you're not comfortable with a full Spectator look. And for me, I do wear this shoe in less formal situations, although to be honest, it could easily be worn with a suit should you wish to do so. But you know, with some reservations, I go as far to say. So what are my thoughts really on those shoes that Dirk are looking at? The Allen Edmonds McAllister brogues, which I believe retail for $395 US. Well, for a start, we know Allen Edmonds make a good shoe. They're probably the best shoe you can buy in America today at a very reasonable price. We know they're going to be Goodyear welted, so they're going to last many, many years. So it's not a bad investment anyway, particularly if you can buy them perhaps out of season, because I think these will definitely be seen as a summer shoe, and you might be able to buy them at a knockdown price come the autumn, ready for next year. I think that would be the way to do it. I notice that that central sort of vamp area of the shoe is made of a light coloured fabric. So again, definitely a summer shoe and will look good with maybe summer clothing. It'll be a nice visual contrast to maybe another pair of shoes of a similar kind. So in short, I think they're pretty nice. I see them in all different colour styles. You've got navy, you've got light brown and maybe a darker brown. Some good options there. I think it'll be a good investment if you can buy it for a good price. It'll definitely be a shoe to add into the collection, which will allow you to stand out in a crowd in the summer months. I think you can invest in confidence if you can get it cheaply. When it comes to that sneaker style, what they're calling the McAllister wingtip sneaker, Spectator sneaker, $295 US. For me, that's a bit expensive for what is in essence just a training shoe, a sneaker. For me, I would not be bringing that into the collection because I don't wear that type of shoe, to be fair. However, if you are a gentleman who exclusively wears sneakers and you're looking to move up your game one tier at a time, this could be an option. This could be a chance for you to buy that shoe, which brings some element of structure and formality to your footwear, yet without going the whole hog and leaping into a full dress shoe. Particularly if you can get it as a knockdown price in the winter months, worth having, possibly. So there we go, folks. Dirk, I hope that's answered your question. Yeah, why not? Go for it. Invest the money. Let us know how you get on. If you have enjoyed this video, I would encourage you to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, click the red button. If you'd like to contribute, send me your questions in the comment section below, or drop me an email directly via my email address, which you will find in the About section on the main YouTube page. If you'd like to practically support the channel, you could of course do that by buying me a coffee. I'd love to have a coffee with you. You'll find the link to my Buy Me a Coffee page in the show notes below. So until the next time, think about those spectators. Think about the history of the Co-Respondent shoe. Does it match your personality? Are you one of those lounge lizards? Then perhaps you need to get the shoes so that you dress the part. Until the next time, take care of yourselves, and I will see you again very soon.